Jason Rzucidlo reporting inside Joe Louis Arena in downtown Detroit, where new Michigan Governor Rick Snyder was announced as this year's Crain's Newsmaker of the Year. Stay tuned for some of his remarks right here on AmericaJR.com.
Smart guy. Nice guy. That guy. Probably has a snowball's chance of making good. Well, guess what, folks? We're on the ice rink, and a snowball will have a pretty good chance of making good. Today's Valentine's Day, and Governor Rick Snyder is still in his honeymoon period. I have to tell you, it's going to end Thursday when he gets published his proposed budget for the fiscal year. Today, it's still chocolate. You know, in her first inaugural address in 2003, our previous governor promised Michigan residents to be blown away by the results of our economic agenda. Last week, Lieutenant Governor Crain predicted a budget coming on Thursday. It looked like an atomic bomb. We need to feel the ground shake all over Michigan because we have put off tough choices far too long. And now I hope that everyone will share the pain. As I said in my column this week, everybody loves an idea as long as it doesn't impact them or their business. But remember, we hired Governor Snyder to be our CEO. That means us, and he will make tough decisions. I would say it's time to loosen our ties and roll up our sleeves. But our governor on those days, including today, has already lost his time. He's been ready to work since November 3rd, the day after his election. He has a plan, and I think it's going to be up all of us to support it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 40th Governor of the great state of Michigan. It is the chocolate flowers today. Keith just mentioned. Just a couple things before I talk about our current situation. Just a little background as I reflected on this great honor. I am truly honored. I've been a reader of Crain's for decades. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be their Newsmaker of the Year. So thank you, Mary, Keith, and the entire organization for this honor. As I thought back, though, I was talking to my wife over the weekend, Sue, and she said, well, what are you going to talk about? What's this all about? This Newsmaker of the Year. So I started thinking back, and I think back to 2009, when we first met. In 2009, it was really simple. I was running for office, and no one knew who I was. And no one cared, largely. 2010 came, and the Super Bowl ad. And that was a defining moment in terms of people knowing who I was. But if I looked at the media coverage of that, it's like, who is Rick Snyder? That was the question of the year in many respects. So the interesting part is, thanks to all the hard work of many people here, I was honored and fortunate enough to be elected governor. So the 2010 current theme is Rick Snyder is now governor, but who is Rick Snyder? What I would contend with you is that's not a relevant question. It's a nice to know, but that's not really what matters. And that's not what I draw. The question that matters to me, and the question that I hope matters to all of us, is what are we going to do to become a great state again? And that's the singular focus we need to bring to this. It is about reinventing Michigan. That has been my theme for 2 years, and it will be the theme for the next 4. Because that's what really matters. We are a fabulous place. And it's about we working together to truly change our culture, to change our approach with a new vision, plan, and attitude for our state. And I am tremendously excited to do that, even with Thursday. I don't fear Thursday. Thursday is just the next step.
just this year, I'm proud of what we accomplished, because what has happened? The first thing, the state of the state. It was time for a roadmap, where I believe we were able to outline the key steps of what month they were going to happen and how we were going to approach these difficult issues, the crisis in front of us. The economic development issues in January, budget and tax in February, government reform in March, education reform in April, and that's the first 6 months. There's more to come. The other thing we did that I thought was critical, that I hope is from a media perspective one of the most overused words of the year, is the word dashboard. It is time for measurement, accountability, performance, and results to be measured in our government. And we need to take the dashboard concept not just from the state of Michigan, but to every jurisdiction in our state, to every department in our state government, to every department in every jurisdiction, and let us stand on results and be measured and show real results for real people. That's what matters. Another thing we're fortunate enough to do that helped with a number of groups, including all the wonderful accountants here, is we issued a Citizen's Guide to Financial Health. That was long overdue, that should have happened decades ago, to stand up and say, we have spent beyond our means, we have not been financially prudent, and it is time to be responsible now, and let's share all this information with every single citizen in our state. That document, I believe, should happen at every jurisdiction in every school district in our state. Plain language explanations. The only part I was disappointed with is the overfocus on the public employee count piece. There's lots of good data to show other issues and other problems we're facing, and I'm doing it not out of fear, but out of commitment to say we will take responsibility for the past because we are not going to leave that legacy for our children. So we're now coming to the next step on Thursday. And as I talked to school over the weekend, she goes, are they going to want to hear about last year? I said, no, honey, I know the media. They don't care. They only want to hear what's next. So I said I was going to share some of the guidelines for Thursday. I'm not going to go through the detail, but I thought I would share with you the guiding principles we used when we looked at how to address tax and budget reform in our state. There are 4 guiding principles that I outlined for our team. The first guiding principle, there would be no net increase in taxes. Our citizens are suffering in this state. 1 out of $7 is government spending in terms of what's going on in our state. We can't afford to take more dollars from our people on a net basis. We need to be efficient and share with them in terms of the tough times we're all going through. The cost of government is too high. We need more efficient government, and we need to show value for money. The second principle, it is time for tax reform, fundamental tax reform in our state. We need to have a tax environment that will create jobs, that will drive an economy in a positive way for the long term. And it is time to get to a tax system that is simple, fair, and efficient. Stop looking in the rearview mirror of the legacy of past decades, seeing who got what from whom, and create a level, clean playing field where we can all win together on a fair basis. The third point, it is time for value for money budgeting, a whole new budget concept. The idea of doing line item budgets and one-year budgets is ridiculous. If I took a poll of all the business people here and all the nonprofit organizations, that is not how you've lived your life. That is not how you succeed. It is time for the government sector to join you and understand it's about not just spending money, but showing results and making a difference for people. And doing it in the context that's more than 1 year, but a series of years, so you can plan effectively for the future and address the long-term problems, not just the short-term issue in front of you today. The fourth principle, it is time for shared sacrifice. It is time for all of us to say, how can we contribute to the solution